As we understand more about our kids, I believe we'll understand the whole universe. Could it be that today's kids are divinely created different? Could they have special gifts and talents that need to be explored? What's really going on inside their little heads? Is there a more deeper spiritual reason for their odd behavior? Just really, how accurate is the modern-day medical diagnosis of these kids with so-called disorders? Are we letting them down by not understanding them better? Could it be we have a hard time understanding them because we're not built like they are? What if their so-called disorders are not disorders at all? Could it be that they're a part of a bigger spiritual picture that's perfect in design in every way? And wouldn't this be impossible to understand if you weren't as spiritually gifted as they are?
Hello, I'm Michelle Lindsay and I'm here with Dean Heimel. Today he's here to share with us what he believes is some breakthrough information about today's children and how it applies to all of us. I'm so happy to be here to be at one of Gary Spivey's many spiritual retreat centers. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you for being here today.
Can you tell us about how you met and became involved with working together?
Yeah, over 19 years ago, I heard Gary on the radio and I set up an appointment to see Gary because I had issues in my life I was working through. So when I went in to see Gary, it was pretty amazing because my life changed. In the 30-minute appointment I had with Gary, all the issues I had in my life just seemed to evaporate, seemed to just go away. I mean, I went to many therapists throughout my life for these issues with no help, no hope. 30 minutes with Gary, the issues were gone. I've traveled all around the world with Gary Spivey, TV shows,
the modern day Nostradamus,
radio shows.
Make things better. That's what Gary does. He makes things better.
Live stage shows, seminars, spiritual retreats.
And that's his signature look.
There's no mistaking Gary when you see him. You see him once, you will remember him for the rest of your life. There's people all over the world who remembers that look. There's no one else that looks like Gary Spivey. He touches the lives of thousands and thousands of people and changes people's lives.
If it wasn't for Gary, I probably would be dead, so thank you again.
Gary's biggest passion is working with children.
Your hand.
Children of all ages. He works with children who have been diagnosed with ADD, autism, and many other diagnoses that the doctors give them.
how are you? You good? High fives.
Gary works with these children, and I watch these children's lives they blossom, they change overnight. I relate to these children because I grew up a spiritually gifted child. I mean, at the time I didn't know I was spiritually gifted. I thought I had an issue, I thought I had problems, I thought I had things going on. It all started when I was probably about 6 years old. When I would start seeing things in a spiritual dimension that was all around me. And I had no one to relate to except my twin brother. And explain to him what I would see. He would just look at me with this puzzled look on his face like, I don't see what you're talking about. And this went on as I grew older. I seen more and more things. I would ask my twin brother. Same thing, he would tell me, I don't know what you're talking about. So I didn't have anyone to talk to.
I would think that in some cases, meeting Gary would be the biggest deal in a child's life, or their family's life, or anyone's life for that matter.
Well, Michelle, let's let the viewers at home see for themselves.
So like I said, when he was 3, he would start seeing the angels, and then he started seeing somebody called Mr. Nobody.
Then you got to meet to see God, right?
Yes.
And so, what does he tell you?
He told me cool stuff.
Oh, little stuff. Can you see God waving at you now?
Yes.
Well, you see God waving? Yeah.
Sometimes I see him.
My children are spiritually gifted. I am somewhat. I believe I'm the one in our family that's led to do different things and to meet different people. My children can see angels, can speak with God, can speak with Jesus, can kill demons, and they use their gifts often to help me, my business, our friends and family, people we don't know. If we see somebody in a show and they're coughing real hard, I'll say, help.
My name is Alex. I'm 11 years old. Before I read Gary's book, I used to see shadows and angels roaming around my house.
My name is Hunter. I am able to feel people's spirits if I'm holding their hands or I'm near them, and I can just feel them on my arms. Like if someone has pain in their arm, I can feel it in my arm.
Recently he started seeing what, spirits, right?
Yes.
So what kind of spirits did you see?
Ghost.
How can he focus at school? Because he's having problems focusing at school. And I don't know if it's just because he's 6 years old, or is it because of all the spiritual things?
Well, it's all the spiritual things. See, sometimes it's hard to pay attention for what's happening right here, because you know how when you look at things and they get fuzzy?
Yes.
You know? You're not able to stare at something for a long time without it going fuzzy, right? Yeah, that's because you see things like I do. And so you're seeing the aura, and you're digesting all kinds of information. You know, and you're seeing the energy. So therefore, when you see the fuzziness,
It's hard sometimes being in classrooms because I can feel all the people's negative energy and their bad feelings. So it's sometimes hard to be in school, and it sometimes messes up my classwork time.
you can always, you know, get back to where you can focus on things in this dimension, you know, by doing this little trick. See, you're seeing all the other dimensions all the way up to heaven. So you're really special and really gifted. Well, see, other kids aren't going to be able to see that always. You know, that's okay. You know, you're like me, you'll be able to help a lot of people in your life. But they don't always understand it.
So can you help us understand or explain how Gary disagrees with these medical terms of these children being diagnosed with ADD and other disorders?
In Gary's opinion, drugs is not the answer to your child's problems. It's a spiritual solution.
I was diagnosed with ADD when I was in 2nd grade, like my mom said, and they immediately put me on Ritalin, and that seemed to help with the ADD, but it made me sort of like a zombie. I didn't really have any emotions. I just went through the day like a schedule, and I got everything done that was needed to be done, but I had no social life, really.
Saddest child. He cried so much and felt so much sadness. And then in school in the 2nd grade, he was unable to focus. Teachers actually started disliking him. He was a little disruptive. Couldn't turn his homework even though we'd done it together the night before.
Hi, I'm Dana, and I'm Hunter's mom. When he was little, he had a lot of issues, ADD and all these things, and the doctors all wanted to put him on medication and all that stuff. He had all the attention deficit problems.
With Gary's help and the meditation, Brian began to come into his own. He was unable, I think, at the point in the 2nd grade to tell the difference between the physical world and the spiritual world.
With my son, with his fits and his anger, the doctor wanted to put him on Ritalin, and I fought that tooth and nail. And after he has read the book and has gone through his meditation now, we don't have our fits of anger anymore, and we don't have the question of ADD or ADHD or anything along that lines.
I didn't know what was going on. I thought it was crazy because I would see things, I would feel things. I would also at times feel suicidal.
I'm very gifted. You're very super. But this is a lot of gifts around you.
Meeting Gary really let Brian believe that somebody out there gets him, understands what his gift is. And for a mom, there's nothing better.
That must be really difficult for these children to not understand these abilities that they have and what they're going through, so I can see how they can get distracted at school or in their general daily lives. Can you explain to me about the seminars that Gary holds all over the world?
Well, yeah, Gary, he developed a series of seminars that he conducts all around the world. And actually, I have some video clips of Gary in seminars. He's working with some gifted children. Would you like to see these videos?
Absolutely. These seminars are like spiritual workshops, you would say? Or?
Oh, absolutely. It's just like spiritual workshops where people come in and they change their lives. And you'll see what's happening in these video clips.
Wonderful. Let's take a look.
My fiance committed suicide like many years ago, and I've had just a problem in my heart, and it's hurt for all these years. And he's going around the room today talking to people and everything about them, and when he got to me, he took off some dark energy from around me that I know was there, and then he said, can I work on your heart? And I was so excited that he said that, and he called a little boy over who he had done some work with earlier, and through the little boy and through what he saw and everything else, I got like 22 new hearts today, so it was really That's super cool.
And you have a dark heart here. Make sense? Oh, so, okay. Somebody break your heart? Yeah. So you need a new heart. Hey, Cameron, come here and help me get a new heart, Cameron. Is that okay? Come over here. This lady needs a new heart. There we go. There. It went inside. She got 2 hearts, 3 hearts, 4 hearts, 5 hearts, 6 hearts, 7 hearts, 8 hearts, 9 hearts, 10 hearts, 11 hearts, 12 hearts, 13 hearts, 14 hearts, 15 hearts, 16 hearts. There we go. There we go. Sometimes you want to get healed and you just get healed. That's pretty wild. Yeah. There we are.
Thank you.
That's what we're doing down there. See? Whack. There you go. No big deal. There. Now, how warm did you get?
Yeah.
Really hot, right?
Yeah.
You feel that?
Yeah.
You got really warm in your chest. And see now, see that demon's fingers being pulled out of their chest? And see all that stuff coming out? It looks like tree roots. See that? You did that. You did that, yeah.
My dad brought me to this workshop and Gary explained these things to me because at first I thought I was hallucinating, but Gary helped me out and I now understand all this.
Coming to this seminar today made Hunter feel more normal.
Working with Gary today was an experience of a lifetime.
Okay, close your eyes and let me show you. I'm just getting rid of the little darkness on your head.
And I learned so many things I might never have learned. When Gary showed me how to do all these things, I was very amazed of how you could close your eyes and you could image them very easily. And you could see the demons around people, stabbing them in the back, and doing many other things. When I came to this retreat, I did not know that I could do this. I knew that I had a gift, but I did not imagine that I was this talented.
I went home with a book, My Keys to Heaven. I started reading it. My son Alex sees me reading this book every evening after work. He says, "Dad, what are you reading?" And he probably hadn't seen me read a book except maybe textbooks while going to school. And he was interested in reading the book, so we started sharing the book. And I started doing some of the meditations that I had learned at the workshop. And I came to discover that Alex had actually received the same gifts that I had received without any prior knowledge. And that was fascinating. He explained everything as he saw it, the way I had experienced it. And so I thought, well, if it worked for Alex, it's got to work for Peter. And so I went from one son to the other and basically discovered that my boys had these special gifts, and what we do now is we kind of look out for each other, look out for family members. He's got a cousin that he healed, his grandmother, total strangers. So this experience with meeting Gary was life-changing for me.
Coming to this seminar today was it was a relief to see Hunter opening up again to want to use his gifts and want to explore them more, and he's asking for the books so he can, work at home.
I'd been reading this book, and I'd learned some of the things that he had spoken about, and this was just an awesome experience for my son, who I'm very impressed with because he seems to have an amazing talent, which I always kind of felt that he did have some incredible talents, but I always wanted to know exactly what they were like. And he has a spiritual sense of spirituality to him that I wasn't really sure how deep it went, but now I have a better idea of how deep it goes.
I see my dreams.
I've learned a lot about spiritual protection from Gary and using my spiritual gifts, and I've used them on her a lot to help protect her dreams. And it got to a point where it just wasn't enough. Like I wasn't doing enough. And I just happened to see the email like yesterday that Gary was in town. So that's when I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna take her.
Imagine you sitting up in heaven on the beach. And you're sitting up in heaven on the beach with God. This is your highest, higher self.
When Gary was doing the meditation, I close my eyes and I can see things. This is my first time at Gary's seminar, and I liked
It's life-changing for me to understand how that all this is normal. I'm not the only one that sees and hears things like that. I'm really grateful for my dad bringing me here.
I would come here again if we had another chance. I'm so happy and thrilled that I got to come here. This experience was way better than I could have ever imagined.
Coming to Gary Spivey's workshop was the best thing that's pretty much ever happened to me. I enjoyed every bit of it, and I hope I can do it again.
How touching is that, to witness these families' lives change? Thank you so much for having me here today, Mr. Heinroll. I really appreciate your time.
It was my pleasure. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you.
Maybe we're all just like these gifted kids, but all grown up now. If you have something going on that may be just dark energies negatively affecting your life, get this book, and like thousands of other people, I believe it will change your life forever.